The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Riff Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing,
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. Happy True Crime Wednesday. My name is Joni Skinner. I am your host this evening on Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. Tonight we are streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, and of course YouTube. Please hit the like and share button, and Spotify and Apple. What did I miss? Did I forget one? Rumble. I think that's it. How are you all? Happy cold Wednesday here. I hope you all are ready for more snow on the East Coast, because I was just watching the weather, and it's called a cyclone bomb. That's what y'all are getting. We have enough snow here to send it up to you guys. We got dug out. Let's see, it started snowing Saturday. We finally got dug out Monday. I did, at least. So we have power. Thank God. We made it through the big storm. So we're done. We're done with snow. We're done with cold. We're done. But it's actually quite cold right now. I hope y'all are doing well. Let's take a look at the chat for this evening. How is the chat doing? Are you all surviving the cold weather and the snow? We got around 13 inches, maybe 12 inches, I think. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. But now you get used to it. You know, it was snowing Saturday, and I would go out and I was sweeping, because it's like pixie snow. It was real, like pixie. It was like glittery pixie. You couldn't make a snowman. So I went out, and about every couple of hours, and I was sweeping and trying to keep up with it. And I don't know if you all, when it snows, and it snows a lot, I mean, when it's really coming down, it is so peaceful and so quiet. It's when the earth is like at its calmest. It is, you can hear a pin drop. It's actually wonderful. And I mean, it was freezing cold. It was like we were down around 5 degrees, but it didn't bother me because there's just something so peaceful about a snowfall. I don't know what it is. Kids had a ball. Hello, Miss Lois, Miss Lee, Miss Tammy. Hello, Miss Cindy. And don't forget, y'all, on Monday night, Cindy Surrender and Shine with her energy tips and her energy. Her show is on energy, which is really important this year, especially with the astrology that's coming at us. So make sure and tune in to Miss Cindy on Monday nights at 9 on the Rift Nation Network. And Miss Linda, how are you? And Miss Lois, I hope y'all are doing well on a cold, cold evening. Hello, Miss Crystal. How are you, hon? Crystal, get this cold out of here. I know. Crystal and I are tired of the cold. We're done. We I don't know if you guys, we watch here in our area. Well, I guess not just this area. I think all over the country because he's got millions of viewers. I tuned in because Matt was out clearing the highways, but I tuned in to Ryan Hall, y'all, all weekend long. If you want, we're in the Dixie Belt too for tornadoes, not Dixie Alley. We're in Dixie Alley. So Ryan Hall on YouTube is a staple for us during bad weather. Tune into him they have what, and when the storm chasers are here, when the Weather Channel is here and the storm chasers are coming to your area, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Like, go away. We don't want you here. That means that's where the most action is going to be. So they were all here, but we all made it. We always make it, don't we? I'm done with snow. And then we'll go right into spring with tornadoes. You can't win. I hope you guys stay warm, safe this weekend. Lee had 17 inches of snow there in PA. I know it. You're going to get more too this weekend because that cyclone bomb or whatever they're calling it, it's going right up the East Coast, and it's going to turn into a nor'easter. So you're getting more, Lois or Lee. Lois had ice, sleet, and snow. Now it's layered ice. You're getting more too. Tammy, do you? I do too. If you all don't watch him, we'll give Ryan Hall a plug. Tammy down in Texas watches him. He is the best weather. And I think what I like, Tammy, and I don't know if anybody else watches him, it's the live people, the storm chasers that are out. And he's got cameras everywhere so you can see the areas, and he's good. And these kids, they're young kids and they're meteorologists. I mean, and Max Velocity is good as well. So make sure and tune into him if you want up-to-date information. So that's my plug for him. He's a good boy. He's from Kentucky. Linda says snow is a bad 4-letter word. You get used to it. I figured it out to my friends in Canada. I figured this out. Cindy will like this. Denise will too. Our friends in Canada. And Carrie Lynn and our friends in Canada. You get accustomed to certain temperature. We get acclimated to, like, today it was like 7 below in my car. No, and like when it's 7 below normally in the beginning of winter, if we get that low, I usually have gloves, a hat, a vest, and then a jacket and another hat. And I like walk out to the car and I can barely walk. Today, I'm out there, no gloves, no hat, but I did have a vest on and I did have my boots on. So, and I wasn't cold. So we acclimate to the cold as human beings. I think it's kind of cool. Tammy says Ryan is awesome. He helps so many people out when the weather's super bad in Texas. You know, that's true. What he does is they fill up trucks and these kids go out into the areas that are, you know, by whether it be tornadoes, floods. Tammy said he came down there in Texas with the floods. And the storm chasers, the kids that go around and chase the tornadoes and the hurricanes and the snow, those kids, I think, were out getting more people out of the snow when their cars were stuck all weekend. The kids just stop and help everybody. I have a lot of faith in our young people today. I really do. They're wonderful kids. They're wonderful. I got a lot of faith in them. I hope y'all are doing well. I did a little something a little different this week for the show. Yeah, Linda says that's true. Oh, Cindy says from now to 0 Celsius, I will wear snow pants everywhere. What is 0 Celsius, Cindy, in Fahrenheit? I don't know what Celsius is. What is Celsius in 0, Cindy? What Fahrenheit? Snow pants. Yeah, I've got leggings on that are they're lined, fleece lined. Yeah, like I'm wearing fleece lined pants. And Miss Linda says that's true, but after 9 years in Illinois, I couldn't handle it. I ran away. So it's 30 below 0 from now to 0 Celsius. From now to 30. So 30 degrees. When it gets to like 40 degrees, the kids here are wearing shorts. I see them at Kroger wearing shorts. I always give them a hard time and tell them they're going to get sick. They do. So 0 Celsius. We're at like, I don't know what we're at now. I don't even look anymore. I don't even want to know. I did, y'all, something a little bit different because I knew everybody was just, this storm took like 3/4 of our country up over the weekend. And I thought everybody's, you know, and I'll tell you, they got us, I don't know about your area with this storm, they got us in such an uproar here. It was like the great white death was coming. I mean, I have never seen people panic at the store. I mean, it was crowded. Yes, it wasn't packed, but people were literally kind of panicked. It reminded me of lockdown because they just kind of kept, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, it's going to be this. And, you know, yeah, Nashville just got damaged horribly. And ice is bad, but I was just like, I can't watch this anymore. I can't watch it anymore. I was getting all worked up. I was like, ah. But so what I did is I took a case, and I wanted to relay this because I know you guys that a lot of you have Kirsty's book. Kirsty McIntosh, to get back on topic. I'm a forensic astrologer for those new viewers and listeners, where we combine forensic astrology, which is like mundane astrology or event astrology, and solve mysteries. We look at missing person cases. We can assist that way. But then we take the math from that particular chart and make up what we call a map. And that comes from the astrology. So Kirsty McIntosh, really from Australia, is the pioneer of modern day forensic astrology. She really is. She just came out with a great new book. I don't know where it is. It's the Forensic Astrology Workbook. And I know a lot of you are getting it. And this is, I wanted to show y'all a little trick of the trade. I thought it was interesting. And then, I was really curious about Minnesota because they were having uproars again there. And they had uproars in 2020 and now 2026, right before a great conjunction. Happened in 2020, happened in 2026. And I wanted to look at their birth chart. What I found is very, very interesting that you're going to see. So I thought that was interesting just to kind of give us a little bit of different information. Now, what I'm going to show you is this particular first case. Let me get it bigger for y'all. This young man, we're going to travel to Abilene, Texas. Miss Tammy and Kathy down. We're going to Texas. There we are. We're in the middle of Texas, Abilene, Texas. And this young man, Jeremy Neves, disappeared in April of last year. 25 years old, young man. Okay, here, let's get his picture. He was at this little bar called Guitars and Cadillacs. He was with friends and left around 11 o'clock. He was the main caretaker for his disabled mother at 25 years old, young man. After people saw him leave, after he left, no one saw him or heard from him ever again. Okay? So what happened to Jeremy? 3 months. And of course, the community looked for him, friends, there were searches, nothing. And then a group, and Tammy, you might be familiar with this group in Texas, Rapid Compassion Collective, Rapid CC, which is a nonprofit group that specializes in missing person cases. So it's a search and rescue group. Found him. So I'm going to walk through. Now, why did I look at this case? You're like, well, he was found and it was last year. When you are learning forensic astrology and you have Kirsty's book and you're trying to figure out a case, look up a case where someone has been located. And I did that. I said, well, I'm going to show everybody a case that was last year, a recent case. The young man was last seen by friends. So we had an excellent timestamp, which was 11 p.m. We had the address where he last left from. We have all the components to make up an event chart. Because when we do forensic astrology, the most important thing is accuracy. Accuracy with timestamps, accuracy with addresses, where they were last seen, who were they last heard from via either a text or a camera, phone call, when the 911 call was placed. Those things are imperative. Okay. So Rapid CC found him, Jeremy. Okay. So we're going to take a look at this. And there's young Jeremy. They had their flyers. The whole community was looking. He was and they showed pictures of his car. Of course, we have our missing flyer, just a young, handsome man. Now, Jeremy was found in the water off of the highway down into like a ravine into the highway. Okay. So see that it looks like a culvert or maybe a storm, I don't know, flood thing or something. There's his car when it was found, and it was found 3 months later on June 26th, 2025. And there's a picture of his car in 6 feet of water okay, so notice we have a main highway, correct? So when I pulled up his chart, now, when I did this chart, and if you want to do a practice chart, pick a case that is you have a good timestamp, you have an address, you don't know whether or not it doesn't matter if there were, bad, you might have had a perp, you might not, it doesn't really matter, just for practicing purposes. Now, when we look at Jeremy's chart, we look at the ascendant. As you all know, that is Jeremy. So we look at the ascendant. Who's ruling the ascendant, which is the first house, is Scorpio. Scorpio has 2 ruling planets. Now look at the purple arrows. We have Pluto and we have Mars. So we have Mars up at the top, Pluto, and they are aspecting. Look at that. They're opposing one another. So Jeremy's, we've got Pluto and Mars, 4th house and the 9th house, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So we're going to look at the moon. The moon is always the co-ruler of every forensic astrology chart that represents Jeremy. So we have the ascendant and the moon placement. Those are our 2 clues where Jeremy would be, what Jeremy was doing, what happened at 11 p.m. If you notice, look at the 5th house. It's packed. Where was Jeremy? He was at a little neighborhood club or bar, little place where he went with friends. And we see that in the chart, the 5th house. Things that we enjoy, place, partying, golf course, ball field, anything that we enjoy, pleasure. It's also the house of children. But in this instance, we see, it's a packed 5th house. So we know that's the bar. So we pretty well know by now we have an accurate timestamp. Jeremy is, look at all those people in the 5th house. We've got a female, for sure. So Mercury can be a vehicle, can be a phone. But he was in his vehicle. So we see the vehicle was at the bar with Mercury. And it's hard aspect with the red lines, the moon. So we're going to see where his car went, right? So Jeremy's car, we go up to the moon. So sure enough, 9th house. What is the 9th house in mundane astrology or event astrology? Never fails, a main highway. So we're thinking, okay, so we got a main highway, leaving the bar. Who's ruling that 9th house? Cancer. What is Cancer? Cancer is a water sign. So now we're kind of being told, look around water, main highway, vehicle, and 9th house, he's by the main highway because he's Mars, right? So we can look at that, and okay, what else can we? So and then we're going to map it. Let's look at the mileage. So we look at the ascendant. It's 23 degrees. So we can either do 0.23 miles, 2.3 miles, 23 miles. Let's look at the midheaven, which is the MC, 0 miles. So that's not going to count in anything. 9 times out of 10, when somebody disappears, it's the lower mileage, like 2.3. You can do 2 circles around your map. You can do the 2.3 and then the 23 miles. It's whatever you want to do. So let's take a look at the map. So 2.3 miles at that Lytle area, right? That's exactly where he was found, right off of Highway 322 in the water. And it was a direct position right to where he was found. So that's how you can practice. Now, I left all the other lines off not to confuse you, but it was right there. It's exactly where his car was found. That's how accurate. There's the little bar that he was at. Oops, my bad. And that takes us right to where they were pulling him out of the water. So I thought that's kind of an interesting way to learn, because I know a lot of you guys are learning. But once again, and this case, I pulled it. It was random. It was absolutely at random that I picked this case because I knew he had been found because I saw the pictures. But I didn't know at the time I mapped it where he was found. And I didn't know what the chart would look like. But once again, and Kirsty's format and what she has developed through experience and through the years, I kid you not, it's accurate every single week. It's 100% accuracy. I'm more blown away when it doesn't hit exact. But every week we do mapping when there's a mapping involved. Just last week with our teacher from Chicago, it mapped out identically to where she was found. As long as that timestamp is correct, the mapping will be correct. And again, I use Scribble Maps. Scribble Maps gives you the tool and how to do what we call the bearings on how to draw the lines. And it's if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I'm not good at math. If the computer didn't do the math, I couldn't do it because I don't like math. But there it is. It's identical, and it leads right to where. And the chart, of course, gave us the story, but the lines gave us exactly where he was. And just from what I've seen doing this forever, the planets differ. You're not going to always have Saturn be where someone is located. You're not going to always have Jupiter. Sometimes you'll go through a phase where every time you do a map, Jupiter is the planet, or the sun, or the rising. I found there's no relevance in what planet shows you where you're going. I thought that was pretty. So just pick one out at random. And God love his heart. This is a sad, sad story. Out with friends. He was his mom's caretaker, and she was disabled. So I thought that it was just a sad story for this young man. It's just so sad. But that's it. That's his story. So that can give you an idea of what you can practice on and look at cases. I thought that was interesting because we've done cases the last couple of weeks, and I thought we'll just kind of do something a little bit different for practice and show you. So there it is. And it was right to where he was in that 322, the main highway. Now we can break it down even more. If he's not found, look for Jupiter, where it could be a church or a school. You can through process of elimination, when you really study a chart, you can find them. All righty, let's take a look at Minnesota. This is so interesting. This is very, very interesting. Now, confession, I have never been to Minnesota. So I don't know what it's like. I'm not very familiar with it. I know it's cold. And I know the Vikings play there. That's about all I know about Minnesota. But I was curious. And I thought, well, I'm going to take a look at it because, I get curious when events continue to repeat. And normally, if you're into spirituality, if you've got a pattern that's repeating, it's something that you are not taking care of. So it's a lesson that is continually repeating that you're not getting. So it's like, okay, Minnesota, what is going on that things are repeating and you're not getting? Let's see if we can get that. And Keith brought this up Monday night, and it was very interesting, and I never thought of it, that in 2020, when they had civil unrest, that was when United States was going through its Pluto return. Right in the beginning of its Pluto return, right? So I thought, maybe from what happened at the Pluto return happened there, maybe things weren't fixed. That's a possibility. Pluto is the planet that takes it down to nothing for you to build it back up if you don't fix it. If it's not fixed, it will be destroyed. So I thought, let's take a look at it. This is very interesting. Okay, for my friends in Canada, if y'all don't remember, okay, this 2020, I think for many of us, it was for me. And this is one of the events that kind of woke me up a little bit. And I was like, what? The press, this is when I believed everything that the press said. And they were reporting this was a mostly peaceful uprising. So when I would turn on the TV, I would see something different. And I'm like, that ain't peaceful. There's nothing peaceful about the whole town is on fire. This is not mostly peaceful protest. No, this was not. This cost billions of dollars. Civil unrest. It was horrible. So that kind of got me to start to question, why aren't these people telling me what my eyes are seeing? So that was 2020. Let's fast forward to 2026. Guess what's happening? They're saying this is peaceful. It is not. The pictures tell the story. And there's so many citizen journalists now that are on the ground that are sharing. You can watch this live anywhere. It's not peaceful. So just recently, you can see where a hotel was completely destroyed. All of the vehicles in that hotel were completely destroyed because they thought they were federal workers' cars. Guess what? No federal workers were at that hotel. So this mob tore into a nice hotel. They destroyed everybody's car that was staying there, and they ransacked it. That's not peaceful. So, and the gentleman at the bottom left, and there's a video, you can look it up. He got mobbed. They said he was an agent, and he was just walking down the street. So people that are just walking down the street are getting mobbed. A mob went into a church a couple weeks ago, and I read the court papers where the witnesses that were inside of the church gave their statements to investigators. A lady had her arm broken. They were not allowed to leave to go get their children. It is heartbreaking what those people went through inside of that church with their children. Again, we just went in there. No, a lady suffered a broken arm. So we just have to be very mindful of what's coming out. And so when I looked at the chart, I didn't want to be Libra delusional and thinking that nothing was going on. So let's take a look at the chart. Okay, this is the wrong chart. Okay. Oops. Wait, I got the wrong. Where's the chart at? Okay, we're going to look at their natal chart. Okay, this is their natal chart, okay? So don't pay any attention because I think I put up the wrong. I'm looking for another chart. Okay, maybe it won't. Okay, my bad. Okay, this is their natal chart from 1855. Look at the purple in the middle. Okay, we call that a T-square. T-squares are very hard aspects. Okay, the tip of the T-square is Saturn in the 12th house. That represents structures, government, authority. Now remember, this is different. It's a mundane astrology chart. The moon down in the 3rd house represents the people. Okay? And then we've got Neptune, Sun up in the 9th house. That represents ideology, legal, universities, higher mind, what your philosophies are, education. So first, when you look at this chart, and I'll read it to you, you have to look at this T-square because it's very important in this chart, because if this T-square were to get triggered at that Saturn point, which is karma, what is hidden? Karma, what is hidden? There you go with your unrest. Okay, that could be one. So when you interpret this, okay, let's take a look at the Sun conjunct Moon, or Sun conjunct Neptune up in the 9th house. Okay, vulnerable to confusion, scandals, hidden motives. This city is identified by its universities, but potential idealistic overreach debates in policies, religion, blurred lines. There are blurred lines between inspiration and delusion up in that. Now that's with the moon, that's with Neptune and the Sun. So that is like, okay, that's a little tricky. And then we've got the 12th house with karma, rigid thinking, reoccurring themes of accountability in the community. Saturn in the 12th house, reoccurring themes of accountability within the community. Education, secrets or isolating structures. Now, this T-square is going to get hit in April when Uranus, which is now transiting, is going to be hitting that T-square. Uranus is going to trigger this T-square in April. So we need to look at, okay, what could be ahead in April for them. It indicates, okay, so this is what happens. Disruption. It's a breaking free, though. So there's a lot coming for them, but the outcome, I think, can be very, very positive. Instability, rebellion, battling authority, hidden structures, karma, what is hidden, corruption in institutions, hidden power structures. Check this out. Hidden power structures involving hospitals and charities. Remember that 12th house, hospitals, charities. That's when Uranus comes in and rocks it. So we're going to keep a look at that at April. Now, what's really, really positive that I found in this chart, And I'm really happy about it because I want all cities and states to be happy. I don't want people going around mobbing people. Saturn, as you know, the great conjunction of Saturn and Neptune will be moving into their 10th house of Aries, right? Aries is leadership. This is really, now that's going to be February 20th, but it's happening now. That's new beginnings, everything new, complete transformation of what has been going on there. So it's very, very positive moving into a leadership role. Could that mean there's a new leader? Who knows? We don't know what that could be. Could it be a new change of heart with the leader? We don't know. But that's a very positive thing going into that sign. And the people in the third house are really, it's squaring Saturn, and it's also squaring, and it's opposing Sun Neptune. So the people are really, it's rough on the people within the little communities and the neighborhoods. This is not an easy chart for a city, but there's still a lot of loveliness in this chart. The Pisces stellium really, and I'll tell you what, a Neptune getting out of Pisces for the last 14 years has really been a sponge for that place. As soon as Saturn Neptune gets into Aries in the 10th house, we're going to get leadership is going to lead. Now, whether or not it's not now, I don't know, because I'm not. That's where leadership is going to stand up in that 10th house. Why do I say that? Because it's going into Aries. So the people are going to not be behind that Pisces stellium is gigantic for this area and this energy. It's really soaked. It's just soaked in Pisces. These are very philosophical, spiritual people, but they need leaders. They need boundaries, and they need structure, and they need leadership, because if not, they're going amok. And that's exactly what's happening, because there's no structure. Well, as soon as Saturn Neptune hits Aries, there will be a lot of structure. So, it really has a positive outlook, working with a T-square that's pretty gnarly. Now, we're going to watch this because right now we've got all those personal planets in Aquarius, which is in the 8th house. 8th house is inheritance. It's the mortality rate. It's other people's money, right? But then what happens is all of that stellium that's transiting in Aquarius in their 8th house is going to be, guess what? Squaring its natal Pluto. So in other words, we are getting whacked by Pluto 3 times. That Pluto is saying, straighten this up, straighten this up, straighten this up. So we're going to see what happens, because, again, the planets in May, remember, in May, are going to be hitting Pluto and Uranus in their natal chart, which is the 11th house of, it's not their Congress. It's like their representatives. That's what the 11th house is. It's like Congress or the House of Representatives or a parliament. So that personal planets will be hitting and lighting up Pluto and Uranus and the North Node. It's destiny. They have to be governed. So we're going to see some shakeups, a lot of shakeups, especially with Uranus moving into hitting the karma. Pluto's getting whacked again. And Pluto seems to be kind of handling this place with kid gloves, because it's like, okay, Pluto return, didn't do it. So let's get it together. But it's squaring a lot of all the personal planets. Then all the personal planets are going to be going into Pisces. really right now, pretty soon. So we're going to watch it. We're going to see what happens. But that's, let me see what else on my notes. Okay, so we've got the energy flowing in the T-square towards Saturn's apex, and that's for resolution. The strengths are capacity for compassion, innovative blending of practicality and service with inspirational vision. History of social justice activism, artistic communities, and educational hubs align here. The challenges erupt in crisis when the idealism has gone awry, clashing with public demands for clarity resolved through strict reforms or limitations. Now, I just looked this up, right? I didn't make this up. I took it right off of looking it up. It's exactly what's happening here. April 25th is going to be a jolt to their foundation. Hidden realms break down, but communication and intellectual under pressure. It will be a change in the public discourse. It's really 12th house encourages, calls for transparency. So 12th house is our apex on their Saturn. We're going to watch this as close can be, because this astrology has just mapped out exactly what this place is. I've never been there, but these are very spiritual people. That the energy of Pisces there is beautiful, but it's all Pisces. There's no structure. You need somebody that's going to govern and rule, whether it's whatever the ruling people are, have got to be earthy people. They've got to. It's just a wire, and that's true, you know. I thought that was super interesting. I love Neptune and Saturn going into the 10th house, which I think is going to really help them. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be, there's going to be a couple more uproars, and the gauntlet's going to come down as soon as Saturn hits Aries in a couple weeks. So I hoped you guys could, I hope you understood that. Yes, I saw that, Keith. Mercury was conjunct the sun. So they had, this is what happened. They had heads of Minnesota are in the signal chat leading it. They have a very, and in case y'all have not heard this, they've got people on what's called a signal chat. Okay. So it's the signal chat where a lot of the city leaders are directing people where to find the agents that are going around arresting people. So, that's going on right now. And this signal, it's called Signal Gate. That was just infiltrated by some journalists that went to the group. But this is all going to work out. I think I'm very positive with Saturn Neptune hitting that 10th house. I think it's going to be fine. But there's got to be a lot of change. You can't walk down the street, and unfortunately, you just can't go down the street mobbing people because they're not who you think they are, or who they're not all agents. You cannot mob people walking down the freaking street. So I think it's very interesting. Did you guys find that interesting? Do y'all have any questions? I know I kind of rambled. Okay, Lois does. I know I kind of rambled about it. The houses are different meanings from natal chart to absolutely, completely different. They are like in mundane astrology, right? The first house, which is the ascendant, is how the nation or city, how the nation is feeling. Their physical appearance, how the people are feeling, the mood of the country is the first house. Second house is, of course, money. What is valued? Money. Okay. Third house, communications, media, neighborhoods. I mean, there's a whole list. I'll actually post one tomorrow in the group because there's a ton of them. But that's basically media and media, neighborhoods. Fourth house is the homeland, farmland, homeland, ancestors. Fifth house, children, creativity, what we enjoy. Sixth house is day-to-day routine. It's workers, it's small pets, it's the workforce. It can also represent police or military. Seventh house is partnerships with different countries or different states or partnerships, treaties. Okay. Eighth house. Eighth house is other people's money, taxes. Let's see, death, mortality rate, death. When I was looking up, remember when people were talking about the tariffs and we were doing the U.S. solar return chart? The eighth house, guess what is in there? Jupiter is in the eighth house of the USA chart. So we know now that tariffs are, and they're bringing in billions of dollars now. So we knew with Jupiter going into that house that it would just be off the cuff, other people's money. Ninth house is the judiciary. It's court systems. It's universities. It's the philosophy or religion of the country, and it's travel. 10th house is easy. It's the ruler, whether it be like King Charles or president in the U.S. or, it's the ruler. It's governor, like a governor of the state. 11th house is the legislators, like Congress, Parliament. And then the 12th house is hidden enemies. Hidden enemies. What is hidden? Hospitals, prisons, 3-letter agencies, things like that. So yeah, it's a big difference. Yeah. And event charts actually can be a little bit different than the mundane astrology charts too. So for example, a perp in the forensic astrology is the 7th house. The victim is the 1st house. So they differ a little bit. So I hope that's clarity. We'll all put good vibes out to that state. Okay. I mean, I think, I've been kind of just trying to send some really good vibes to them, and just a lot going on for them. Media is hiding and manipulating things. Yeah, but news flash. Here's what Keith is saying. Let's see here. Keith says the guy that had a that and 2 that's. I can't say it. That it was a thing. They're known for misfire if dropped. They're still looking into. Well, I've done legal work for 22 years. And you wait for all the facts. You can't look at a case with only half of the facts. You have to wait for information. You wait for all the investigations, all of the cameras. That you cannot make, at least I can't, but I'm a Libra, and especially leaders should not be doing this. Don't make a judgment call without an investigation and all the facts. We don't know. You cannot judge something from a 10-second video. You have to wait for all the information to come out. We simply don't know. And a rush to judgment is something that we've got to be very careful with, this Aries energy moving into Neptune and Saturn. Especially when it first moves into there, because Aries is very impulsive. So immediately off the bat, an Aries is going to, an Aries energy is going to be like, you know, oh, this, but we have to wait. You know what I mean? We got like, you got to wait for all the investigations. You have to. That's just what I think. You just have to wait. So I just hope the people that are trying to go to church and the kids, they get their lives back. They need that. They a city can't go through what they went through in 2020 and now again. They simply cannot do it. Needs to be restarted. You know what? It's not going to have much of a choice this time with 3 Pluto hits. It's not going to have a choice. Yeah, Pluto will destroy it. It will tear it down. It'll go. Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys have anything else? Oh, look at this, y'all. Oh, Miss Denise, late getting home, listening on YouTube with quick speed. I'm glad you are, Miss Denise. Hey, you guys, look at this. Keith does not have to pay any taxes this year. Keith does not have to pay any taxes. Well, congratulations. You should be a happy camper. Congratulations, hon. That's just great. I didn't have to pay state either. I was happy. So everybody have just be, and especially like Lee, true. Oh yeah, I say we can't, people can have their own opinions. They can certainly have their opinions, but I think just caution to the wind with all the people on eggshells. I think it's smart to just wait for all the information. I think it's just the smart thing to do, But everybody that's out on the East Coast, I know Miss Lois and Miss Lee and everybody that's all on the East Coast, please be careful this weekend. Let's just hope that it's not a big bad one. Be careful. So y'all have a great week. I hope you like doing something a little bit different. Just a little bit different. So stay well, stay warm, and be very careful, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys next Wednesday. So have a good night, stay warm, and take care. Thank you. Oh, let me find the thing. Dang. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.